I have played many chess computers on this channel so far, but nothing like this. I played the very first chess computer that was commercially available to the public from '79, the Chess Challenger, and I've played boards up through history, and now I have this one, which is the newest chess board on the market, and it's even better than that. But let's first get to some chess, and I will tell you all the exciting things and how they relate to this channel. So the first thing is I will say that I am a human, as indicated here, and I would like level 3 help, and I will tell you what, or you will see rather, what that means. It's a very, very cool feature. And I would like to play against the AI, so I will go to AI here, and I will put it in the blue mode, which is the advanced mode, but only give myself the first level of difficulty, because the first game is just a test to show you how it works, the chess computer part of it, and then I will play a more serious game afterwards, where the challenge is, of course, as always, can I beat the machine before you will fall asleep. So I will open the game with the pawn to d4. And as you can see, our silicon friend here shows us that they want to move the knight to f6 with this cool feature here, which is one of the main points with this digital board. So knight to f6, and it would be so fun if the machine played the Budapest defense. So I will play an opening where I will allow the Budapest defense. I will play pawn to c4. Okay, the machine does not play the Budapest defense. That would have been really fun, because I have used that particular opening to beat so many of the earlier chess computers. Now, I have some exciting news for you guys if you are supporters of the channel, if you follow the channel, because this chess set I didn't actually buy myself. No, Bright Labs, the ones who invented it and are selling it, they sent it to me for free, and there is even more than that. They love my videos so much that they asked me if I wanted to be in business with them. So if you, after watching this video, think I'd like a chessboard like this, then you can get one. And if you use the link that I have in the description, you will get 10% off. And as you will see over the course of this video, this is a very advanced board, and it is therefore not exactly cheap, so a 10% discount could be very cool. And also it's very cool that I get a commission of 10% also, so you will both do yourself a favor, get the board cheaper, and you will do me a favor. So I'm very excited. But first, let me show you how it works and what it can do, and then you can decide if this is something for you. So I will play this knight, and you can see I put in the start I said I wanted level 3 help, and when I pick up the knight it shows all the legal moves, 2 are blue, and that means the computer says those are fine moves to put it there, but we are in theory, and in this opening the standard move is to put it on the green square. The computer is able to respond immediately because we are still in the opening book, so we don't need to think. We can just look up in the book. I believe that pawn to e4 is a book move here. Let's check out all the book moves. So I guess if I press this, yes, you can say it pawn to e4 is a recommended move. Knight to f3, maybe bishop f4 or g5. None of those are in the opening book here. Okay, so I think we will go with my first inclination and play pawn to e4. And this thing here it's honestly really cool. You can of course play against the computer, and you can use it to practice your openings. There are all sorts of features. It also connects to your phone via Bluetooth and allow you to play a game of chess against a stranger on the internet, like a random lead chess user, where they will just be playing. They will not know that you are doing anything different. They will be playing on their computer or their phone or their tablet or whatever, but you will be just playing on this. And I think that's honestly really cool. Okay, I will play bishop to e2 here, and the computer castles. And I think I will try to hack here. This is not an opening move, so the computer will start thinking. It plays pawn to b6 in order to fianchetto the bishop. Bishop get out on the long diagonal. I of course want to hack the computer here, and if you noticed, it made the move there green. That was not because it was part of theory. That was because that particular move was recommended on according to the evaluation that the machine has of the position. Now it wants to capture the pawn with the knight. We recapture with the bishop, and they capture with their pawn. And in this hacky fashion, we are now threatening checkmate on h7. I am sure the machine on a harder difficulty setting would not allow me to get in with an attack like this. So now it's time to just see if we can finish this hack attack. Just come in here, capture this pawn, they recapture like so, recapture with the queen, and the point here of this way of doing the opening is that I'm threatening checkmate on h7 or on h8, and the computer only has one way to avoid the checkmate, which is to put the bishop here. We of course just capture it. So it was bishop h3, rook takes h3, then random move, knight here, and queen to h7, checkmate. And that was the first game against the level 1 of the serious opponents, where the blue opponents are really trying to beat you, and the green opponents are more trying to help you get better at chess in various ways. Now, for the real challenge, can I beat this on a harder difficulty before you fall asleep? And I'd like to mention one thing about this. This is not a review. This video is not a review, and the reason it is not a review is that I can't say or claim that I am unbiased, because I make money if you buy the chessboard using my link. So even though I do think this is an amazing chessboard, I am of course biased in that. So watch this more like a pleasant advert. This is an ad for this thing. I will make money if you buy it. And if you don't buy it, you can still just watch the video and we can have a good time. I will go to the settings here. I will say I'm a human. I will just need level 1 support. So no book moves, no recommended moves, no blunder alerts. And I will play the AI on level, let's say, 3. Okay. And in upcoming videos I will use this chessboard for other stuff. I will be playing against maybe some patrons over leeches, or maybe some random people over the internet, because I think that's a really, really cool functionality of this ChessUp chessboard. Okay, I will open the game again with pawn to d4. Will we try to get the computer out of book or play something with which we are familiar? I think c4. Trying to keep it, not keep it simple, but keep it familiar. So this opening is very standard. I will play knight f3. Okay, so it goes for, is that called the Queen's Indian defense? Something like that. That is one of those where I don't know, I don't really know any theory here. I have played a game once, like one of the only tournament games I played. I also saw this and I responded with this fianchetto style setup, and apparently it was quite okay. I ended up winning the game, not because of the opening, but I didn't lose it in the opening, and then I was able to get an advantage later on. So the bishop to d7, and maybe it's an indication that I'm playing a theory that the computer responds immediately. Knight to c3, and now the machine is thinking. You can see the ChessUp logo here. Okay, we see a move that makes me think that I should maybe have put this machine on a harder difficulty, because knight to g4 doesn't seem very strong. Now the reason the knight was on f6 is, with the knight on f6 and the bishop on b7, black is controlling the very important e4 square, because they attacked it twice and I only attacked it once, so I couldn't play pawn to e4, but I can now. And I am not really concerned that this knight is going to make some amazing attack that I cannot defend against, because I have very solid setup here. Now the computer violates a chess principle by moving the same piece 2 times in the opening phase of the game. Don't do that, don't do that. unless you have a very good reason. Here, I guess the reason is that the bishop pins the knight that now can't move. You can see when I touch it, it can't move, and the board signals it can't move because the king is would be in check. So the knight is no longer defending the pawn here. I could play queen to c2, queen to d3. I could play pawn to d5 as a response to bishop b4. I think a move like pawn to d5 could be quite good. Just trying to... But I think I will just play queen to c2 here, just keep it very sort of familiar and not try to get an advantage straight away. So now the queen is defending e4, and we see knight to a6. Okay, what on earth is that about? That seems like a very weird move. I'm going to castle like so, and let's take stock of the position. The computer is it's not playing very well, I don't think. Now we see bishop to c6. I should have either put it on a harder difficulty, or I should have connected it to my phone using Bluetooth, and in that way I can in principle play against Stockfish, that's the best chess program in the entire world that we could make for free. Just make it control the black's pieces here. But I do feel that the move pawn to d5 would be the way to try to punish black, because black is violating some chess principles. It's actually maybe a little bit instructive. So knight moves twice in the opening for no very good reason. Bishop moves twice in the opening for no very good reason. Knight a6, a knight on the rim is dim, is something we say in chess. Why do we say that? Well, on this square, the knight has a limited maneuverability, whereas if it's because it can't go outside the board. So ideally knights want to be closer to the center. And you could also argue that black also failed to try to take control of the center, so violating quite a number of principles, meaning resulting in me having a pretty good position here without having done any real calculation at all. So that is one of the powers of learning these principles. The computer captures my pawn, first blood, and there's a principle that says that you should capture towards the center. So that would be capturing with this pawn. But I think I will violate that principle and capture with this pawn, because I think I have a justification. So there's a little Zwischenzug, an in-between move here. I am of course threatening the bishop after pawn on c takes d5, but now the computer plays bishop on b4 captures c3, and that's called an in-between move. before reacting to my threat up here, it throws this into the mix. And I am fine with that. I will capture, I think, so the intuitive thing would be to capture with the queen. Queen takes c3. But I think I actually want to play the pawn on b. b2 takes c3, because after the bishop moves out of the attack, you can see the justification for the violation of the chess principle that I was talking about before. And that is with e takes d5. I have opened up our line against the king. Black's king safety is very questionable due to black having violated these principles. And if I capture with the b pawn, the bishop can come to a3 and cut the black king away from castling. I think that could potentially be very strong. So we play b takes c3. Then we will see what the computer does. Okay, it moves the piece back. So how many moves has the computer lost? So the first developing move is not lost. So the knight, for instance, coming to f6, that's not a lost move, but it lost time going to g4. That's one. This bishop went to c6 and then back after its developing move. So that's two more moves. So 3 moves in total. And that's a very big percentage. I don't know what move we are on in the game, how many moves we've made, but it's like 70, it's like 30% of the moves that black has wasted. So I am way ahead in what we would call development. So first I will play rook to e1, and that is check. And the king goes to f8. Now we have the advantage that this king can never, ever castle. What else could we do? How about a move like queen to f5, just looking at the king here, just trying to come in and checkmate. How about a move like bishop here to g5? That would attack the queen. The bishop would be defended by the knight. We would be developing another piece. We would probably see a move like pawn to f6 in response to that. And then we could actually play queen f5, because there is no pawn takes bishop, because the pawn would be pinned to the king. So I think, even though I was happy with the diagonal the bishop could come to here, the a3 to f8 diagonal, I changed my mind a little bit and I played bishop to g5, attacking the queen, being defended by the knight, and the computer plays pawn to f6. Maybe knight to f6 would have been slightly better. Let's take a look. I want to follow up by playing queen f5. This, of course, attacks the knight. It pins the pawn on f6, so my bishop is no longer attacked. And the computer plays knight to h6. This attacks my queen. But, of course, I can capture that knight with my bishop. So I play bishop takes h6. The computer will recapture with g takes h6. And I don't have any what we would call material advantage because we have captured a pawn, a knight, and a bishop, and a pawn. We have captured the same pieces. But if you contrast my king with the black king, you can see mine is in a bunker, safe and snug as a buck in a rock. I hope you feel as safe as my king, lying under the blanket somewhere, just snoozing and dozing off, or just feeling very secure and happy, like my king, and not like the black king all out in the wilderness. Okay, so we want to get in here and attack and expose or utilize the weakness of the black majesty here. We could consider a move like bishop to h3 along with the queen attacking the pawn on d7. We could consider a move like knight to e5. Knight to e5 can't be captured by the pawn because it's pinned to the king. That would also be threatening. The pawn on d7. I think a move though our opponent could play there would be bishop back to c8, potentially exposing an attack on the queen after pawn to d7. However, we could then be cheeky and play d6 ourselves. So I think knight to e5 is a very interesting move here. Okay, we see this defended in another way. I missed knight to c5. This, of course, also defends d7. Maybe now something simple like knight to g4, attacking the weak pawn on f6, attacking the weak pawn on h6, and getting ready to come in for the full point here. Computer plays knight to a4, moving a potentially strong defensive piece away from the action. That probably is not a good idea. I will play knight takes. I will not play queen takes f6 because I don't want a queen trade, even though it's still better for me, and even though I win a pawn, I don't want to trade the queens off. I don't want to allow that if I can help it, because I want to use the queen to checkmate and end the quick game a little quickly here. So knight takes f6. Okay. Now we are threatening all sorts of discovered checks. So the king goes to g7. I guess we would have a forced mate in some moves here. I guess a simple move like knight h5 check. King goes back. This is the only move, and I think we could have a very cool finish here, maybe. So queen g4 does not work because the check can be blocked with queen g5, but maybe we can play rook e8, queen takes rook, and then the queen will no longer be defending f6, so we could play knight f6, check, king moves, and we win the queen. That is of course very, very strong. And I just want to check, of course, that we don't have any obvious checkmates that are missing. Queen g4, queen g5. How about after queen g5, knight f6 check, king moves, I'm not sure, and I can't resist this sacrifice. It feels good, so I will make it. Only one legal move, queen takes, so rook e1, queen takes e1, and knight f6, saying hello to the majesty and to the queen. King to g7 is the response that we see. Now we play knight takes e8, check, and interestingly we don't see either rook capture that knight. That is a little bizarre. Instead the computer plays king to g8. This is probably a result of us not choosing the hardest difficulty. Okay, so queen g4, king f7, queen g7 check, king takes e8, rook e1 check, king d8, queen takes h8, checkmate. I'm not sure if that was correct, but I will try. Queen g4, king f8, queen g7 check, king takes e1, e8 I mean, and my idea here was that rook e1 check was winning, since I could now play queen takes h8 and queen takes h8, and that is checkmate. Queen takes h8 and checkmate. So this is the first out of probably many videos with this board. There is a link in the description where you can buy it. If you want it, it will support me and you will get 10% discount. No, whether or not you buy it, that doesn't matter too much. What really matters is that I hope you had a good time watching this video, and I hope I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.